Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Blackburn Arena for tonight's challenge game against the Blackburn Eagles. It's our last chance to see the team in action before we travel up to Solway in 2 weeks' time for the playoff weekend. We're going to take tonight's opportunity to have a sit down and chat with outgoing head coach Jared Owen, and we'll ask him his views and thoughts of his tenure in the last 5 years he's spent at the club. So enjoy. As I mentioned earlier, Jared's here for a chat, so let's kick it off straight away. How are you, pal?
Not bad, thank you.
Things all right?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. I was thinking about what to ask you and jotting a few things down and one thing or other, and I think a few things popped in my head. And one of the things that sticks out for me really is that I remember not so long back we stood at bar talking, me, you, and Gaz, and something stuck in my mind that you said to me and you said to Gaz that when you first came in to the rink and what. So tell me that tale again. What struck you when you first came into the ring all them years ago?
Yeah. Well, obviously it came out of the blue really. The whole Blackburn thing. Gary Rogers rang me and asked me if I'd be interested in coming up to play. We had a few conversations and spoke with Dangy and we decided we'd give it a shot. So it was a Saturday afternoon just after Christmas and we drove up to come and sign our forms. Took us about 3.5 hours. There was bad traffic and whatnot, and we got here and we'd missed training, or what we thought was training. And we turned up and there was Cragger, Ollie, and Scott Rogers on the ice.
Right.
And
I remember it. I do remember it.
And I remember looking at Dangy and saying, "What are we doing? Like, what's going on here? This is training." And he was like, "I'm sure it'll be better. It'll be better." And yeah, it was kind of my first experience at Blackburn was no one being here for training, so it was a bit like, oh, okay, but things have improved since then.
Yeah, so, I think they have. Yeah. So how did you end up with the job? I can remember back. I have a terrible memory, me, and I forget. I go through phases of me where I forget who were here before Jared and who were here before that, and so just elaborate a bit more. How did you actually come about getting the position?
The season we came to play with the half season, Mark Stokes had started the year as coach, and then I believe his mother was
in a bereavement. That's right.
Yeah. So he ended up going back to Canada and spent some time there. So Bucky took over for the rest of that year when we came in and played. And then, if I'm honest, I was just playing to I was ready to finish. Hudson was due to be born that summer, and so I just thought, well, I might as well play because it's my last opportunity. And then Gary came to me and said, look, I really think you'd be good at the coaching role. What do you think? And I was like, no, I'm not interested. Little boy's going to be born, so I'm going to go home and finish the season. And then and sat down and spoke to Tash at the time about it, and she said, well, why don't you give it a go? So went from there really. I said to Gary, yeah, why not? Let's give it a shot. Took it from there really. So.
Again, going back, my memories of your first coming in and how far we've gone from there. I was used to the real dark, dreary days and travelling up to Whitley Bay and getting the backsides felt on a regular basis. And I can only thank you personally for where we're at now. I really do thank you for where we're at. So, going back over the 5-year period, what games or things stand out for you over your tenure?
I don't know. It's difficult. It's hard to reflect, I think, at the moment.
Really?
Because I'm focused on what's going to happen in the next few weeks more than looking back. But I think just the belief, I think, in the dressing room over the course of even that first season. It wasn't always pretty, but we managed to dig in and qualify for the playoffs. And then obviously we beat the invincible Whitley team here at home in the first leg, and I felt we were unlucky when we went up there. Really, it was always a difficult place to play, but they did their job. And but I think just after that, you could just see that the guys kind of believed that maybe there was something here. And I think one of the biggest things that me and Dangy tried to do when we got here was just to change the culture. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
It is amateur and whatnot, but to a certain degree, if you're going to give up your weekends and your Thursday nights to do it, you might as well put some commitment into it and then see how far you can get. And we didn't really feel like that when we first got here. It was kind of like people played ice hockey because it was a bit of a laugh and they'd done it since they were kids and whatnot, and it didn't really matter all that much whether you got beat or not, as long as you had a laugh. And I'm a sore loser. I can't do that. So, and Dangy's exactly the same. And so it was just, we knew there was talent. You could see that there were talented players there, and you can see that by the fact from when we started to now, 80% maybe more of the squad are still here. You know, we haven't made wholesale changes.
No, not at all.
We've just tinkered here and there, added bits where we felt we can to improve the squad, and that was it really. It was a change of culture, I think, as much as anything. And
yeah, I think the biggest compliment I can pay you is that, you know, you touched on it earlier, that we've always had that core group of players here. But I think, you know, you as the head coach, the leader, you've galvanised it. You've took an average team that, you know, let's be honest about it, they got relegated one year. When the fact that Billingham, you know, didn't enter league, that saved a bacon. And, you know, every year we've gone from strength to strength to strength to strength to where we are now, and you know, you need to take some credit for that, and fair play to you for doing that. So, you know, I'd like to personally thank you for it, and
thank you.
I'm sure I can speak on behalf of all the supporters that come in and around the rink. I'm sure they feel the same as me. So, looking further ahead, and now you've said that you're stepping down. I do understand where you're coming from. I've been in that position where you are. I know the pressures that goes with it. So, you know, is it sad? Is it happy? Where are you at mentally?
It's still not sunk in, if I'm honest. I've spoken to a few people about it, and I said I don't think it'll properly sink in till July, August time, when it's kind of like I've got nothing to do. Do you know what I mean? And normally I'd be finalising a team, you know, speaking to the rink about pre-season, you know, hoping the fixtures were coming out, things like that, so we can start to plan. I think then it'll kind of sink in that I'm not coming back. So I guess a little bit sad, because this is kind of all I've known for 26 years. You know, ice hockey has been my life.
But again, you know, what I would say is that, you know, you leave the club in a far healthier state than my time that I've been around here, which is God knows how long. I've never seen as vibrant, as healthy, as buoyant. You know, obviously winning the league this year, and hopefully we can go and win the playoffs. You know, you leave the club in a very healthy situation.
Yeah, I'd like to think so, and I'd like to think, you know, the new coach who comes in and the new players that come in, that they'll be able to carry on what we've got here. And I think the guys in that dressing room now are more than capable of it. You know, there's going to be some changes. Just, you know, I'm not coming back. You know. And things like that. So a new coach is going to want to bring in their own players and their own ideas. But I think the core group is more than good enough to do what we've done this year again. So, and I look forward to them being able to do that. It's nice to have got to where we have. I think there's probably been times in the last few years where we probably could have got here before, but you know, we didn't get the job done when we needed to. But this year, it's, you know, it's all gone.
Again, you know, I'm going to keep throwing compliments at you because I think you deserve it. You know, again, picking up on my time being around the club, I can't ever. The point I'm trying to say is that what you were selling, everybody bought into. We now, and we've done it for a number of months, is that when we go to Whitley, Billingham, whoever, we go mob-handed. Yeah. You know, and I think that, for me and for everybody else, has been the key to our success. Yeah. Would you say that was true?
I think, you know, strength in numbers always plays. You know, we've always had a good core, but maybe at times we haven't had the additional players that have been needed, and the bodies. You know, sometimes when you go away on a Sunday night to a Whitley or a Billingham, and I think the strength in numbers this year has really helped us.
Yeah, I think the recent 4-4 draw, and I don't mean to sound negative now. Please don't take it the wrong way. I think the 4-4 draw 2 weeks ago in Sheffield reminded me of what used to be, and that was the difference in terms of numbers and bodies that weren't there on that particular day for whatever reason. Yeah. Would you know what I mean by that?
And I think part of it as well is since, you know, we've statistically won the league, it's difficult to get motivated at times, and then, you know, other things come up and injuries and things, and it, you know, it's the right time to rest people. So that's kind of, you know.
But just show to me from what was to what is now. You know, we buy into what you're selling. Everyone turns up mob-handed, and it just proved that the transition from what we used to be like to what we are now. And, you know, I think the biggest compliment I can pay is that, you know, when we do go everywhere, we go mob-handed. Fans are coming out left, right, and centre. Yeah. I was saying to somebody the other day, I go now to a venue, and it used to be a case of I'd know every Tom, Dick, and Harry that were there. There'd be about 6 or 7 of us one late night down in Nottingham. Now I'll go to somewhere and I'll walk in a venue. I don't know half the people. Yeah. With replica Owen shirts on and Owen shirts and whatever. I have no idea who these people are. Yeah. So, you know, that's testament to you. People will always come watching a winning team, and I think, you know, you take a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, it's nice to have the success we've had this year with everything that's gone on. 25th anniversary, everything that obviously happened with Alan, and now obviously with it being my my final season as well. It's been a nice ending, I think, really. And you know, from my point of view, we're focused now on one more trophy, and then you know, the players deserve it as much as anything. They're the ones who've put the effort in this year. They've bought into everything that, you know, that I've brought to the table, and they deserve the credit for where we are. And hopefully, you know, 2 more wins and then it's another trophy.
We'll just move it a little step forward then. Sunday night's game, obviously we were planning on playing England under 17s, weren't we? And I was really looking forward to it.
I think it would have been a good game.
Yeah, I do. How do we as a club approach Sunday's game? Are we a bit of a testimonial to? Are we going? I would imagine we're going full bore, getting ourselves set up for 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, we can't take our foot off the pedal, really. I think there might be a few changes in and around, you know, swapping some players over to get a proper run out, you know, and get the guys competing against, you know, guys at the level they're going to be playing. And that's no disrespect to the Eagles, but it's just, you know, their season's at an end. You know, they're in, you know, summer mode, and we've got to be in, you know, battle mode, really.
Yeah,
we've got to come and be ready, and so I think it'll be a high tempo game. I think it'll be a good workout for us, and you know, we've got to make the best of what we've got, really. We've got 1 game now before the playoffs start, and we've got to make sure that we're working on everything that we can.
Well, time's moving on. Looking out there, we're just before 10 o'clock, and you need to be on the ice in 15 minutes or so, don't we? So we'll leave it there. But personally, I'd like to thank you, and I'll speak on behalf of everybody else. Thanks for everything that you've done.
No,
really
and I'd just like to say thank you to all the fans. You know, it's been amazing being in Blackburn. I've loved every minute of it, and obviously seeing the fan base grow year on year, and it's amazing now. Home or away, it's always a home game for the Hawks, and it's great to have that level of support, and I know it'll continue once I've gone, and I know the guys appreciate it. So thank you very much.
That. Thank you. So on behalf of me and Jared, see you all soon.